Alright, here we go. Video. I talked to Ubisoft's devs. It's worse than we could imagine. Let's see this. Let's see what this is.
I had developers at Ubisoft reach out wanting to make sure that the right story is being told, and these guys are running out of time. While the company has been trying to put on a strong face, pretend like they have a plan moving forward, well, things internally have been falling apart faster and faster every single day. With many developers at the company now believing that this is just going to be the end of Ubisoft, and many of them are just preparing to leave.
Well, I mean, they haven't made... Ubisoft hasn't made, like, a good game. I don't remember the last time they made a good game. Like, it's been at least 10 years, and even that's arguable. Because, like, I liked Far Cry 5, but a lot of people didn't. So, it's probably been, like, 15 years. I don't know when the last successful Ubisoft titles have been. I don't know what they've been putting out. But, like, I know Ubisoft to me was the company that made, like, Splinter Cell and shit back in the day. Right? They used to make a bunch of good games. And now, Ubislop is the term. Because it's all games where you just do the same fucking thing over and over and over again. Yeah, they used to do Rainbow Six, they did Ghost Recon, they did Far Cry, they did fucking Splinter Cell. And it was like military shooters, stealth games, all kinds of shit. Prince of Persia, yeah. And now it's like Assassin's Creed 18. Guess what you do? You climb the tower. And you just do the same shit you've done in every other fucking Assassin's Creed game. Like, what do they even fucking make anymore? Tower, don't build a tower. It's just like, I don't know what they do anymore. That, like, no one wants the shit they're putting out. I don't think every game needs to be, like, a quadruple A title. Like, not every game has to be this huge open world game where you could do absolutely everything all the time and it's 70-hour-long story, right? You can make a game with it's 8 hours, release it for $30, it took you a year to make, and build up a library. Like, they don't have to do this shit. Like, this is why I think every AAA studio is going down the fucking drain. Because all these things that built them up to AAA studios were AA games, I guess that's what you would call them, where it's like it's a 6 to 10 hour video game, right? And then you beat it, and they tacked on a multiplayer, and then they pushed out and released it, and then it was done, right? And there were no updates, there were no microtransactions, any of that shit. The game came out, you could beat it in a weekend, it was done. It was enough, you could rent it at the store, beat it, return the game, you're good. And now they're releasing every fucking game is like 40 hours long, dude. It's like, I don't have time for that. It's like, and it takes 10 years before it comes out. Like, we don't need this shit, man. Like, that's why fucking indie gaming is doing so well, because indie games come out and they're fucking hitting that niche. It's not even a niche, I think, but the fucking 6 to 10 hour game. That's what most people want out of a video game. Yeah, and then the ones they put out, it's the same content, it's just more spaced out, it takes longer to play, but you're not accomplishing anything. What do you expect out of GTA 6 bags? I don't know. I mean, if it was like a Grand Theft Auto 4 or San Andreas or 5, I think it'll probably be fine. But I have no idea. I don't know I don't know the infiltration. I don't know what the fuck is going on with that game. I don't know if it's going to be good. I'll play it because I'm a streamer, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how well it's going to do, right? But we'll see. We'll see, I guess. So I'm not sure. But yeah, I don't think Ubisoft is doing the right things. I don't think most AAA companies are doing the right things, right? Do you think they'll go through with the $100 price tag? I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the things you got to realize, all right, as far as video game prices go. How do I word this? Games have been $60 since like Xbox 360, since like 2005. All right. The dollar value has been like cut in half since then, right? So, and games are taking even longer to make and costing even more. So really, that fucking $60 is worth essentially $30. And fucking $100 is worth like $50. Because of inflation and shit like that. Just the value of the dollar has gone down so much, and game prices have been the same for so long. But the game value is also cut in half since then, so it balances out. A lot of them are not worth the price tag, because you can get a free game that costs nothing, and it will be better than a lot of games that cost full price, right? So that's always a value proposition that you've got to deal with, that some people want the free game, some of them want to buy the game. I mean, that's a taste, I guess, right? Then you cut both budget and scope. A lot of times they do. They need to cut budget and scope. I think a lot of times... We've watched like 30 seconds of the video, and I went on a rant, by the way, sorry. But like a lot of times, the game companies, they have so much bloat in these fucking companies. They have an HR team that's bigger than the goddamn game development part of the company, and they don't need it. They don't need most of these people working at the company. And then the people that do work at the company, this goes back to like 2010 when a bunch of game companies were getting flack for like laying off people, right? Because they would finish a video game and then the video game is done, and so they lay off the team that made it. But like people were getting mad at the companies for doing that, but in my head I was like, well, the game is done. They don't have anything to work. The job is done, right? So video game developers are basically contractors, but they're treated like they're full-time employees where they get benefits and shit, right? And that's why all these companies outsource to actual contracting companies in fucking India and shit like that, is because if you hire 500 people to develop a game and then the game is done and you don't have anything for 500 people to work on, especially if you're a company in California, you're not allowed to just fire them anymore. You can't just let them go. Like, you'll get sued. So that's why and like the people also working on these games have no incentive to finish working on the game. I think this is also part of the reason why they take so fucking long to come out. Why every game now has a 10-year development cycle is because the people working on it know that, well, if the game gets done, then I don't have anything to do now and my job's at risk, right? They get paid by the hour. They don't give a shit if the job is done, right? So it's just a weird thing where they should be contractors. They should be contractors, but they're full-time employees where they don't get paid when the job is done. They get paid by the hour, so they have no incentive to make a finished product. And it's just the whole fucking process is wrong. Right? It's all backwards. And so that's why we are where we are, I think. That's part of the reason why we are. And that's part of the reason why game prices need to go to $100, because they take so long to put out. The price has been stagnant for 20 years, essentially, and it's just not worth it. Like, it's not fucking worth it. A AAA game crash is coming soon? It is. But I think part of the AAA game crash has also been by design, because I think also another factor, there's all these factors coming in. I think another factor is China and places like that are purposely trying to make Western companies fail, so when they fail, they can buy the IPs and stuff very cheaply, and then they can get market dominance. So there's like, you gotta deal with the Chinese, you gotta deal with the fucking the prices, you gotta deal with the long development times, you gotta deal with the employees that don't actually want to make a fucking video game, you gotta deal with like bloated HR departments. The whole fucking thing is bad. All of it. And so, yeah, I think there's probably gonna be a AAA gaming crash. I think we're already in the middle of one, because they've been propped up for a little bit, but like they're not in good shape. Like I don't think most people, maybe I'm wrong actually now that I think about it, but I was gonna say I don't think most people are gonna play or pay $100 for Grand Theft Auto 6, right? I don't think most people will, but Grand Theft Auto is a really big name and they might, so I don't know. Maybe they will. We'll see. I think Grand Theft Auto 6 is going to be the experiment. 30 seconds into the video, by the way. Yeah, 30 seconds into the video. And then I went on a rant for 30 minutes at 22 seconds. Let's continue watching.
Telling me that there is new leadership that's being put in place that's completely unproven and never even worked on a game before. They've allegedly been lying about their entire plans to be able to save the company. Most of it's all just smoke and mirrors.
GTA is going to be the exception that sets the norm. I think GTA is going to be an exception where their $100 price point could work because GTA is such a big title and they're betting a lot on it. And then a lot of companies are going to say like, oh, we can set our games as $100 now. And they're going to try, but their games are not worth $100 and people aren't going to fucking buy them. So I think Grand Theft Auto is probably going to be an exception to the rule. Yeah, an exception to the rule. And most companies are then going to try to set it at $100 and fail spectacularly. That's probably what's going to happen.
They've been telling their employees to outright ignore player criticism.
I missed the rant.
We
Can
don't
you
know
restart?
what we're talking about, apparently. And these guys still somehow believe that they are the king of open world games, at least in their eyes. And they've even gone as far as to shut down any conversations at the company around Expedition 33 or Dispatch, games coming from former Ubisoft employees because, well, they don't, you know, really match up with the direction that the company...
Like, that's a death knell. That's a nail in the coffin. If you're shutting down discussion within the company about Expedition 33, which was made by former employees and blew up, got Game of the Year, got all these awards, and people really loved it, if you are a fucking video game developer, you should be able to talk about what games are doing well and what people want and why they like it and how did this game do well when our games don't. That should be like a #1 thing that you're talking about. It should be. Like, if you're shutting down discussion, your company's dead. Yeah, you're fucked. End of story. It's like this. I'm going to give you guys a very basic idea of how a company should function. When you fail, you're like, why did this fail? And then you avoid that. And when things work, you say, why did this work? And then you emulate that more, right? And the same thing when you look at competition. When your competition is doing something and it's working really well, you're like, well, how can we implement this into our product? What do people like? How come this is so popular and people loved it so much? And how can we emulate that? How can we get that audience? Like, how can we sell product to that person? That's like basic shit. If you're not allowed to talk about it, like, Jesus, man.
Company is going in, and also those games are kind of flukes. Ubisoft isn't listening to reason. They're not listening to their players. They're not listening to their developers. Hell, they just recently fired one for speaking out online. And now the company is sitting at its
I didn't even hear about that.
point in history. So we have the developers coming out to set the record straight. Today's video is sponsored by Displate, and this one is perfect timing with Valentine's Day.
Let's watch his ad, chat.
Displate's custom displays is one of the easiest gift ideas I have ever seen. You can upload your own image, your photos, artwork, memories, whatever you want, and apply
Skip. No. We're watching his video. We'll watch his ad. Go to Displate.
Any of the extra work yourself. They have a bunch of different filter styles, so whether you want something softer or more
Skip. No, we're watching his video. We'll watch his ad.
Original photo, it can handle it.
Was
for
it
you.
Assassin's Creed
Upload
Shadows
the image,
Deb?
pick
Fuck
the
is
filter,
that?
and
I love
Displate
ad slop.
turns it
What?
into
Go
a
to
high-quality
Displate.
metal poster. If you've never used Displate before, they make premium metal posters. What am I talking about? We have talked about this.
Look at this.
100
It's a
times.
premium
Why
metal
haven't you guys
poster.
bought more of these things. There's no tools. There's no
Isn't that
wall
cool?
damage. They're super easy.
Look,
to
it's
hang up and
magnetic.
swap out.
You
It's
can
just one of
swap
those
them
things
out.
that just works and it looks better than
Don't you guys
anything
want it?
else you could be putting
Display's
up on the
great.
wall.
My friend
They've got over
Funbags
1
bought me
million
displays
designs, so
before.
if you
They
wanna
are
go
pretty
custom
good.
Games, anime, movies, limited editions,
Officially
extra
licensed
for
Warhammer, Valorant.
Valentine's Day, you want to get something special. Something that really shines. So go ahead and
Look
use
at that.
code Legendary.
She's cute.
Check out. Hit the link in the
If
description.
you go to Displate,
Something that
If you go
really
to
shines.
Display, she'll come to your house and suck your dick. Go to Display.
Go ahead and use code Legendary at checkout. Hit the link in the description.
Use code Legendary.
And take a look. If you're stuck on what you want to get someone this year, this solves the problem pretty
Man,
fast.
what do you mean, man? You don't want a redhead?
Man, Ubisoft
Really? Yeah,
used to
true.
be
No
that
lie.
Publisher for the longest time, you didn't even question their releases because these guys just delivered. The 2000s to the early 2010s, it was a ridiculous run. Sands of
That's
Time,
true.
Splinter Cell, Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, Rainbow Six Vegas, Rayman Origins. Not all of these
Far Cry 3 was a great game.
games were perfect, but man, these guys had a grip on the industry. Big franchises, real identity, and some real production value. Just solid games all around.
Love Far Cry 3. Great game. Had Voss, one of the greatest villains in video game history, still talked about today. Fantastic villain. Then they killed him halfway through the game, and his replacement for the second half was really shitty. But you got to go to an island. The water looked nice. Like, graphically, Far Cry 3 was amazing when it came out. You're like, holy shit, this looks good. It was such a good game.
Then somewhere in the mid-2010s, the cracks started to show, and it stopped just being Ubisoft jank in some of their games, and it started just becoming the entire product.
Yeah, I forgot about this fucking game. What was this game called? I forgot this whole series. I didn't even play this one. The one where you're like the hacker? Was it Watch Dogs? Is that the name? Watch Dogs. Yeah, Watch Dogs. Yeah, I didn't play either of these games. Like, I remember the trailer came out, I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then you saw the gameplay, and I was like, this looks like shit. I was like, this looks bad. And I didn't play any of them. And then apparently some people like 1, and then 2 just shit the bed.
Was a disaster. Watch Dogs felt like one of the first times that a ton of people got sold.
I was getting Watch Dogs and then Division mixed up. See, the Division, the first one, I loved the first Division game. I thought it was awesome. A cover, like, loot shooter. I like cover shooters, and I like looter shooters. And it combined them, and I thought it was fucking great. I love the first Division. The second one, not as much, but, like, it was still fine.
One thing and shipped another. That game did not look anything like its trailers. And yeah, these guys still had some wins in that period. You had Siege and Origins, Far Cry 5, Wildlands, the Division 2, but the rot was all
First Division level design still peaks. Snow-covered abandoned New York, still the tits. It is. That's a great aesthetic. I love that aesthetic. And it's Christmas time, so you got Christmas lights and stuff everywhere. That's, I think, part of the reason I didn't like the second one as much, is because I liked the aesthetic of the first one so much, with the snow in New York and the Christmas theme. And then the second one came out, and it's like July in Washington, D.C. I didn't like it as much. I didn't like it.
already spreading. More formula, more padding, more copy-pasted open worlds full of a shitload of chores, and
It predicted
monetization
COVID in
creeping
many
into
such
everything
cases.
until single player just barely even meant anything anymore. And that slow decay finally turned into what I view as now an active free fall. Years of fatigue caught up, and now it's just been miss after miss. Avatar, Skull and Bones, X-Defiant, Star Wars
Oh my
Outlaws.
God. Oh, fucking X-Defiance, chat. You guys remember when I was like, yeah, I'm going to be an X-Defiance streamer? You guys remember when I played that for like 2 weeks? I was like, yeah, I'm done, I think. Holy fuck, dude. Lasted 2 days. I don't even recognize that game. It was a shooter that came out. It was pretty good. It's a pretty good shooter. I don't remember why I stopped playing it, but I was like, I fucking hit a wall. I just stopped. You poor man.
Even Assassin's Creed Shadows came and went from conversation like it didn't even matter. And
It
none
didn't
of these
matter.
games were small bets. These are massive projects, massive.
Like the fucking, oh my god, I'm pausing this video so much. Deal with it. But the fucking thing, like Assassin's Creed Shadow, if they just made Assassin's Creed Shadow not be about Yosuke, the black dude, and made it about samurai that fucking mattered, just make it a Japanese samurai, and Japan, people love samurai. People love Japan. Like, fuck it, that's why the first Ghost of Tsushima that came out, awesome game. Right? Just like, why did you fucking insert this stupid shit into it that no one wanted or asked for? No one gives a fuck about Yasuke except the We Was Kings crowd. And they're not real people. They're not people that buy video games. They don't care about you. So just fucking, like, why? Cuz politics? I know cuz politics. I'm still so confused about the fucking political angle. About, like, how deep it is in every fucking company that they do this shit to push the message when it's just crazy. Like, no one wants this shit. And it's so obvious that no one wants it. Every fucking game with it fails. And so, like, the people that own these companies should just be like, this shit ain't working. Like, fucking get rid of these people that keep telling us to push this shit. Boot them out. Kick them. Fire them. Most of them are true believers. Yeah, but fuck, fire them if they are. If they've got a true believer in this shit, and it's costing you money as a company, then as a company, get rid of that person. Bag's getting radicalized in real time. I always try, every time I feel myself getting to that edge, I try to pull back a little bit. But, like, it just doesn't make sense to me as, like, an economic standpoint. It's like the whole point of an employee is to add value to a company. If you've got employees that are actively subtracting value from your company, to me, it's common sense to get rid of them. Right? And it's like the person that is all the way at the head that owns the company, the board members should be like, why are we losing money? Well, we've been pushing this fucking political message, this ESG score shit, this DEI shit for fucking years, and no one wants it, and it's not selling well. Let's stop. Right? Remember the game that had wall running, Harriet Tubman? Yeah. Fucking goddamn it. The wall running Harriet Tubman where you had to pick cotton to fucking get points. Oh my fucking god. Oh, fuck. Let's keep watching the video.
Budgets, and they didn't pay off, not a single one of them. Now it's studios being shuttered, layoffs at Massive in Stockholm, leadership shakeups, projects being canceled and delayed, Prince of Persia being one of them. And actually, in some of my conversations with the devs, they told me that they had heard internally that it was all tied up in this training setup with students in India for cheaper labor, and that game was basically so mismanaged that it just became completely unsalvageable.
This looks
now you have
so
investors
bad.
that are bailing out. Their stock has been in the dirt for years, and on the U.S. stock exchange, it's sitting at under $1. Everything for this company,
like, look at
like
this.
It's getting worse.
Look at this shit. It went from $20 to $1.
Day by day. So yeah, when I say that Ubisoft is out of time, guys, I am not saying that for the title. I am saying that because that's what it looks like from the outside, and apparently that's exactly what it looks like from the inside. Following the recent reports of Ubisoft developers updating their resumes while they're still employed, and also another developer that got
always keep your resume updated.
Fired for criticizing the company on LinkedIn.
Hold on. Oh, what is this? Fired for criticizing the company on LinkedIn. Ubisoft fires devs who criticize the company's return to work mandate. Assassin's Creed Shadows level designer confirms he's been let go from Ubisoft after over a decade with the company. I hate to be the bearer of bad news for Ubisoft. The return to work is not the reason that your games are failing. It's not because people are at home and working on it from home. It's because from top down, you have like this fucking culture in the company that is like a toxic positivity. You're not allowed to talk about why games fail. You're not allowed to talk about, like, people don't want this woke shit in their video game. You're not allowed to fucking do any of this shit. And if you do, I guarantee you, if these fucking people, if he was just like, I love that we made Assassin's Creed Shadow about Yasuke, they would fucking keep him hired, even though that game fucking failed and cost him a shit ton of money. Right? The people in your company that are saying Yasuke was a good idea, you should fire those people. They should be gone. They should be working at McDonald's. Welcome home, do the meme, flip the burgers, they'd probably fuck that up too. Right? Home production compared to office production is pretty abysmal. But if you're fucking office production, I've done both where I've had to sit at home and then I've had to go to office. And it depends on what you do. If you've got to sit in Zoom meetings all fucking day from at home just to make sure that you're around, yeah, your shit's going to be productive or unproductive. Same if you have to go into the office and you've got to go to fucking like meeting. Your shit's going to be unproductive. Like, I bet that that's what they're doing, is while they're at home, they're like, we need to make sure that these people are working. Like, schedule a Zoom meeting so we can see who's around. Right? And then that's taking away time that they would have from actually getting work done. I bet that's what's happening. put the fries in the bag. You think these people can make food? I mean, probably not. They would be the people that work at Taco Bell that get your order wrong every time. Have you guys noticed this? When you go to Taco Bell, you never get the correct order at all anymore, but you just take whatever the fuck they put in the bag. I swear to God, that's what's happening. Is they just, like, every time you go to Taco Bell now, it's like, it's a mystery bag. It's a gotcha box. Like, because who fucking knows what you're gonna actually get? You can order anything. Who knows what's gonna happen, right? Like... It's fucking insane. So they could go do that, right? This is because the one near me stepped by Ethiopians. I've been lucky with my local Taco Bell. Every time I go to Taco Bell, Taco Bell is the only company the only drive-thru I go to where I open the box or open the bag and look at it before I drive off, because they just, I don't think I ever get the right order from them anymore. Anyway. I'm ranting. I'm sorry. I'm ranting a lot.
And I had both former and current Ubisoft developers reach out to me. Their identities will be kept secret for very obvious reasons, but they want people to understand what is actually going on inside the studio and where they think all of this is headed. First, I simply asked, how does it feel working there right now? And they answered, in one word, depressing. It feels like nothing can be done at our scale as employees, and the future looks even worse. I
can imagine. I can fucking imagine. You gotta understand, though, the people, like, the commies, the true believers, the DEI pushers, the woke activists, are like a cancer to these companies. They really are. Because you get one in the company, and they're like, actually, we need to accommodate this person. I don't feel comfortable with this conversation. I'd like to reach out to HR and schedule a meeting with HR about this in the company, blah, blah, blah. And then they just... hire their own kind that think like them, right? They get into HR and they fucking just like check, like they're like, this person has like 10 years in game development and they're an excellent coder. They voted for Trump. No, here's a college dropout that smokes weed and is a lesbian with a nose ring and blue hair and they're trans. Let's hire them. Let's hire that person. They only hire their own kind. They don't fucking care about if they're actually qualified to do the job. And that's why you have all these people that want to push this shit in the companies. And, like, why every game starts sucking dog shit, because they don't have any interest in actually making video games. So they're saying they're like Indians. Well, maybe. But, like, this is where I get stuck. This is the problem I have. Everyone knows that now. Everyone knows that. The stakeholders, the people with investments, the people that don't care about the games but they care about the money. Why is there no pushback? Where's the fucking pushback from inside the company? How come I guarantee you there's a person in power somewhere at some fucking level that can make decisions that doesn't like where this shit's going and knows the exact cause and is losing a ton of money. How come none of them ever fucking do anything? That's where I get confused. How come it's all the developer teams right now? Wokeness revolve their whole lives around doing the work. Yeah, but like, who fucking cares? Like, there's someone working at Ubisoft that makes decisions that can see the company circling the fucking toilet and knows exactly why they can fire some people. How come they don't fucking do it? Like, where is that person?
Do any of the developers see the light at the end of the tunnel, or do they just feel like they're on the Titanic at this point? They come back to me with, well, as far as I can see, there are three main views. One, I have a family, so I can't really move, so I just hope for the best. Two, I'm preparing my resume. And three, I'll probably just leave the industry.
Hold on, I read this one. They punish people who actually try to do something about it, but I guarantee there's someone at high enough level where they can't just be like, you said something we don't like, you're punished. He's the decision maker. There's a decision maker somewhere in these companies that worked for Ubisoft since like in 1996. Somewhere, I guarantee, that fucking can call some shots and like help turn the company around. And they never fucking do it. And it's every company, everywhere. Like that, it just doesn't compute to me. It just doesn't make sense to me. Like, say you've got an entire compromised HR department that's filled with these blue-haired Karens that don't care about the games. Where's the fucking guy above them that's like, you're all gone? That's the place they target for infiltration first? Okay, let's say that. Where are the alternatives then? Where are the fucking people that are like, we're gonna make Ubisoft games, but they're not gonna be shitty, right? We're gonna do the open world thing, but they're not trash. Where's that? It's just, I don't know. It's confusing to me. They leave and make Expedition 33. Yeah, I mean, that was a good one. But, like, I feel like there should be more at this point.
I then asked, with everything that's happening with the company, management, and the overall direction, do you guys feel like you're even making games for players anymore? They answered, most of the time it's hard to tell. Many just started working like it's a 9 to 5.
See?
I responded.
It's a 9 to 5. They don't give a shit about the game getting done. They just treat it like a 9 to 5. I told you guys.
Well, is that the overall feeling right now? Most people have just checked out. Where do you guys think this company is headed? They respond, I don't think it's everyone yet, but most people think that the direction is delusional and gripping to the hope of releasing a bestseller like Valhalla at its peak at the pandemic or a Fortnite-like live service. I think that while some don't really think about it, many...
See, this is the fucking thing. A live service like Fortnite. This is always a fucking problem with game companies and stuff, too, where they want to make something like another game, like this, but they make it too much like that. And they're trying to get the exact same audience. Like, they want the kids, the Fortnite kids. But here's the thing, is if you have Fortnite, and then you make a game that's like Fortnite, but just not as good because it hasn't been out 10 years at this point. It doesn't have the polish, it doesn't have the community, it doesn't have, like, all the mods, it doesn't have all the modes, and the downloads, and the store, and all this shit. Why the fuck wouldn't they just play Fortnite? You're just offering a worse experience. It's like the WoW Killer days. It is. All those companies wanted those juicy WoW bucks, but failed. Yeah, because they just try to make a game that's exactly like WoW, but it's worse. Because it doesn't have the polish that Blizzard had. It didn't run as well. It didn't have the combat. It didn't have, like, whatever. Right? So it'd just be worse WoW, and it's like, well, why don't you just play WoW then? If you're gonna play one. So they failed. And it's the exact same thing.
Think that we're just gonna end up bought by Tencent for IPs.
Bought by China for IPs. Told you, that's exactly it.
Well, I'm going to say it's no wonder that these developers feel defeated. They know the company is underperforming. They're watching studios get shut down, watching layoffs roll through, hearing more about right-sizing and reorganizing like it's some sort of seasonal update for the company. You would think at some point these guys would see some real change, something that actually addresses why players have checked out, why we stopped buying their games.
I would think so.
Across the board are underperforming, but instead they have management that is clinging to the same idea over and over again, that they're somehow going to recreate the success of Valhalla, a game that blew up.
Was Valhalla even successful?
Moment where the entire world was locked inside their house, while also chasing the live service dragon, thinking that they're the ones that are going to be able to crack it, even though publisher after publisher has tried.
I think I bought it and I never actually played it. But, like, right sizing is such dystopian phrasing. Valhalla was okay. It was okay. I bought it and I don't think I ever played it. I don't think I ever actually turned the game on. But, like, this fucking... They're like, yeah, we just need to do the same thing and we'll catch lightning and WoW. What they need to do, they need to... Like I said, they need to downsize, they need to get rid of their HR department, they need to get rid of all these management people making the wrong decisions. They need to fucking focus on making smaller games for a while, build up some IPs through smaller titles, throw some fucking spaghetti at the wall, see what's working, stop spending 10, 15 years developing one single game and putting all your eggs in one fucking basket, and fucking try that. The things that made you successful in the first place. Like, when you were developing IPs the first time, you weren't like, yeah, everything. Like, we're gonna fucking make Assassin's Creed have everything. No. You didn't do that. You had some features. They're like, you can blend in, and we're gonna focus on stealth, and blah, blah, blah. Right? But fucking, they don't do this shit anymore. Everything has to be the biggest game ever. It doesn't have to be. Fucking... Make some smaller games. They'll never do that, though. I know, but that's the fucking thing. They should fire the people preventing that.
And gotten humiliated for it. And the crazy part is that we don't even have to guess if that's the mindset, because Ubisoft's CEO basically said that outright in their investor briefing.
Okay.
On one hand, the AAA industry has become persistently more selective and competitive, with rising development costs and greater challenges in creating brands. On the other hand, exceptional AAA games, when successful, have more financial potential than ever.
That's true, but here's the thing. They don't make exceptional AAA games. Like, let's just be honest here. If I think of an exceptional AAA game, let's think about it. Red Dead Redemption 2, The Witcher 3. I'm trying to think of in the last 10 to 15 years. That's about all that comes to mind. Like, I don't know what else there is. Kingdom Come Deliverance? The first Kingdom Come Deliverance wasn't even really a AAA game. It kind of was. But it was from a smaller studio. So, I guess that counts? Literally every higher-up who all have each other's backs. Right, Bloodborne, I guess? Elden Ring? Right? Skyrim came out 20 years ago, almost. I feel like, right? Like, when did Skyrim come out? 15 years ago? I mean, I guess, yeah. AAA games and exceptional has been an oxymoron for a hot minute. 2011, yeah, there you go. So, yeah, actually 15 years ago. So, yeah, I guess that counts. But, like, yeah, in the last, like, 15 years, there's only been a handful of what I would consider exceptional AAA games. Like, maybe, like, a 10. You're looking at less than one a year. In my opinion. And maybe I'm wrong. I'm sure there's plenty that I've forgotten that people really loved and I never played. But, yeah, it's like, yeah, they can make more money, but they have... You're forgetting the exceptional part. If people are calling your games Ubi slop, they're not exceptional. Okay? If that's a term where people know exactly what's going to be in your fucking video game of, oh, it's Assassin's Creed. Wonder what you do in this game. Oh, you go around, you run around. Stealth doesn't really matter anymore. It's fucking very easy. You climb the tower, you look at things, and that's it. Right? It's not an exceptional game. You've done it fucking over and over and over and over again. And yeah, some people are going to play it and buy it, but most people don't give a shit anymore. Because it's the same game they played last year. So it's not a fucking exceptional AAA game.
Context, today we are announcing a major reset build to create the conditions for a return to sustainable growth over time. We are transforming Ubisoft's operating model to produce exceptional quality games on two core pillars of our strategy: open world adventures and games as a service native experiences.
Literally the exact opposite of what you should be fucking doing. Literally the exact opposite thing. Like, how come no one at this meeting is like, that's not working? That's what you've been trying for fucking 5 years, and that's why your stock has gone from $20 to $1. Like, if you're at an investment meeting, how come no one's bringing that up? That their fucking strategy isn't changing at all, and that's why they're in the fucking dumps in the first place? Those are the people getting fired. But this is an investment meeting. These aren't people working for Ubisoft. These are people that own large stakes of the company that are fucking paying for the stock and investing in the company. And when the stock goes down, they lose money. Like, that's the fucking thing. So how come some of them are like, yeah, I've got $10 million invested in Ubisoft. Oh, they're at the investment meeting, they're saying that the exact same thing that they've been doing for 5 years where they've lost all their value. They're just going to keep doing it. Okay, da-da-da. Like, no one gives a shit? No one's bringing this up? What do you think the investors are suing right now? Well, that's because the investors are suing because they said they were intentionally tanking the stock to try to fucking buy it up for cheaper prices, right? And that's some of them. But, like, how come at the meeting, they're like, why don't they bring up their basic strategy? You know what I mean?
I cannot believe that this is coming from the same company that wrote one of their villains saying, do you know the definition of insanity? These guys are literally betting the house on doing the exact same thing that they've been doing for the past 10 years.
Exactly. I touched something and all my sound fucked up. Can you guys hear me?
successful and they have more financial potential than ever? Where? When? I haven't seen them. I don't think anybody else has, because the last 5 years have been completely dominated, not by exceptional AAA games. No, it's been smaller games that are actually focused, games that are actually finished, games made by people who actually know what they're doing.
Exactly.
And even when you're making your point that, oh, some of the biggest AAA games that are out there are some of the biggest AAA money printing moments. Okay, yeah, you have Diablo 4. That's probably the only example that you're going to be able to use here. And look where that game ended up. Meanwhile, Baldur's Gate 3, for all intents and purposes, that was definitely a triple.
You know the fucking annoying thing with shit like Diablo that a lot of people don't want to talk about or acknowledge is, even though you can see like a Diablo 4's going down a whole lot, there's not a whole lot of people playing it anymore. Shit like a Diablo Mobile has been like Blizzard's top moneymaker for years. Because even though, like, I've never even fucking played Diablo Mobile, but because it's a mobile game and it's easy and a bunch of whales buy shit in it, it's probably like their most fucking financially viable product. Gotchas work, always will work. Yeah, and I think that's another reason why a lot of companies don't even give a shit anymore, is because they're like, we threw a fucking piece of shit on the phone and it's making money hand over fist. And we spent 10 years making a AAA game, and no one bought it.
Look where that game ended up. Meanwhile, Baldur's Gate 3, for all intents and purposes, that was definitely a AAA-sized cultural event, but it was something that was built closer to a AA budget, single player, no microtransactions. Hell, even the developers are so anti that stuff that they put it in their damn FAQ. So how do you hear players that have been complaining for years about bloated open world
and you can
games,
fuck a bear in that game,
monetization that's infecting everything, about live service elements that are being folded into games that they have no business being there, and then go and look at the graveyard of failed live service launches with a couple of outliers and think that you guys are the ones that are headed in the right direction? What is wrong with this company? So I ended up asking the developers directly, are they just flat out ignoring?
I do still really like The Division. I want to go back to The Division 2 one day. I know I've just been bitching about slop for the past hour, but I do want to play The Division again and see if it's any good. I still want to.
Player feedback. What has been their thoughts on how low players think of them? They responded, they are completely ignoring feedback. They think that the silent majority will keep buying games and microtransactions.
I mean, they're probably not wrong about that. That a lot of people will. But the fucking thing is that if they don't release a game that the silent majority wants, they're not gonna fucking get it. And I don't think a lot of people are... I just don't think a lot of people are interested in buying, like, the fucking yearly Assassin's Creed or bi-yearly Assassin's Creed at this point. Like, not many people are. Right? I just don't think they are. Because it's just... If you wanted to play Assassin's Creed, I could go play, like, 5 different Assassin's Creed games. Right? Fucking Origins, Valhalla, whatever fucking else ones they have. I can't even fucking remember all of them. But you could go play, like, 5 Assassin's Creed games, and they're going to be the exact same game, basically, as the next one they're going to put out. So why don't you just wait for 6 months when it's on sale for $10 and get it then?
Issue is with leadership that they still think that Ubisoft is leading the open world genre, so quality is never questioned despite the shortfalls of recent releases. I then asked, so management is flat out not learning their lessons and ignoring players and the teams. They responded, higher ups, yes. Lower management usually want to do something, but are powerless.
See, there's a fucking thing. Lower management want to do something, but are powerless. The lower management needs to be listened to. There's those people I was wondering about. The people where they're into power, but I guess they're not in power. But, like, where they can see, like, actually we want to fix things, but they're not allowed to. This is always the confusing thing to me when it's a top-down problem. I always get confused. Because I feel like, who the fuck hires a CEO, right? Like, does the HR hire the CEO? I would, like, I don't know. It's just confusing to me. About, like, how the person at the top would not have any interest in the company being profitable. The board? Well, okay, so the board. Why the fuck are the people on the board not actually interested in making money with the company? It's so fucking stupid to me. I don't get it. I get lost. I get confused.
Yes, lower management usually want to do something, but are powerless. I hate how vindicating it is to hear something
like even if you're just like, I don't give a fuck about video games. I hate people that play video games. I'm only in this for the money. I don't give a shit about anything else. That kind of person could still make good games because at the end of the day, they need to make a product that sells. The agenda is more important than the money. I mean, I know it is for some people, but everybody? That's where I get lost. Everybody? No one can do anything? Nobody? He's gonna glow. Yes, I just don't believe it. Who only wants to make money. They don't typically understand the product or the customer base, though. Yeah, but if I invested enough money into Ubisoft that I could sit on the board, I would be like, how come we're fucking losing all our value as a company? Oh, this is why. Let's change it. How did we gain the value in the first place? Maybe let's go back to, square one and try that again. Right? Like, no one can do anything. No one can be like, that CEO sucks. He's taking the company in the wrong direction. Let's vote him out. No one, not one person has any power anywhere to change this. That's where I get so fucking confused, dude. Everyone is just in it for the message. No, come on. Like, come on. Everybody? That can't be the case. The world's a much darker and frankly shittier place than you seem to be assuming, Bags. Counterpoint, what if we made them all black and female and gay? I like, they get ESG money, just sell up to China or the Arabs. But even, still, they're still fucking, Chad, do you understand the dollar loss from $20 stock to $1? Do you understand that you've just lost, if you put $20 in that company, now you have $1? Do you understand how bad that is? Do you understand that, the people that have, millions of dollars invested in this company should be like, what the fuck is going on? Hold on. Do you understand? But the message is more important. Again, I know it is to some people, but I don't get how it is to everybody. Every single person that has any decision making at Ubisoft is ideologically captured by the message. Everyone. 100%. There's no one there that has an interest in making a video game. In the US, yes. I don't buy that. I don't think that's the case. I don't see how it could. I just don't get it. I don't think that can happen.
Like that, yeah, it definitely makes me feel justified. I'm sure it makes a lot of you guys feel
They're
justified
outnumbered,
too,
so what?
I can't imagine how miserable it must be to work inside of a company where you actually want to do something different. You have people that are there that want to fix it, who can see the problems clearly, but they get stonewalled by leadership that pretends like nothing is wrong, tells them to ignore feedback, and just keeps forcing everything in the same direction. Now, I'm sure some of you guys are going to say, just leave. Well, some of these developers are, but it's not that simple. It's not like you have studios around every single corner for these guys to be able to hop to. Especially
You could if all these studios didn't fucking just keep trying to make AAA games and just made smaller ones. Saber Interactive is a great example of what I've been talking about, where they make and publish a lot of smaller games and very niche games, right? Saber Interactive published SnowRunner, a game about driving trucks in the mud. They also made that Warhammer Space Marine 2, right? And Space Marine 2 is a game that's 8 to 12 hours long, and then it's done. And then they threw on a multiplayer and stuff where people really like it, right? And it's fine. And they sold it for what, $30? Yeah, and they did World War Z. And they're making these smaller, niche, highly focused titles. And they're all selling well. Where they don't make $1 billion, but they're also making above what they cost to produce. And they're growing. BlackRock losing tons of money, though, now. It's literally falling apart. BlackRock has enough money to buy countries. Money is not a factor. It is a factor for everyone. It's a factor for everyone. Like, you can... Money is limited, well, sort of. I mean, if you want to get into the weeds about it, they can kind of just print more. But, like, the fucking thing is, they can't just lose money forever.
Especially when you got a family, mortgages, visa situations, or whatever else. So what happens instead is exactly what these guys told me. It just turns into a 9 to 5. People check out. They just do what they're told. They just put their head down, hope everything turns out all right. They ride it out and hope that some other company is going to come in and buy them before it all collapses.
Money didn't matter. They wouldn't have layoffs. That's
I think
true.
This is how we're getting a lot of what we're seeing from AAA right now. Games that are launching painfully off the mark, projects that feel like they're wearing the skin of older franchises without any of the soul, and design decisions that feel like they came straight out of a meeting because none of these games are actually being made by the people who work there. They're being made by the people who are telling them what to do, and most of the people that want to try to do anything have already checked out. I've spent a lot of time talking to AAA developers, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, this is a problem that these...
They're buying influence and control. It's worth the loss for them to reshape culture and society. Yeah, but here's the thing is they're failing. Like, more people are against them than ever before, and they're spending all their money and losing it, and they're still losing the culture war, and people are going more and more against them. Like, the fucking thing is, like, you guys are like, yeah, they can just lose money forever, and they're infiltrated everything, and everyone thinks like them, and it's all over. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. Don't care if she's on vacation. The enemy's tied to the financial integrity to most economies. Eventually the money runs out, but it's a long bleed out. They're hoping to get the control first. Well, it's not working at all. It's not working because, like, if you go look at schools and stuff, there's more right-wing kids than ever. Like, they're more right-wing than the fucking Call of Duty kids, the Halo kids, right? They just like saying slurs and stuff, but now the kids are coming out, and they're not only saying slurs, they actively hate the communists, right? So, like, they're losing the culture war, like, badly. Like, no one likes this shit. So, like, all this money they're spending, like, it's not doing the job, and they can't just fucking lose money forever. Because eventually, even if so, I guarantee you, there's a lot of people that push the message because they think it's financially convenient for them to do so, and when they start losing too much, they're gonna be like, hold on now. Wait a second. Hold on. What are we doing? This isn't working, right? And they're gonna stop.
Guys run into all the time. They hear the players. They know what we're complaining about. They know that they can fix it. They see the way to be able to fix it.
They're still in control, but control of who? Control of the consumers? No. Control of me and you? No. Control of what? Control of a company that's now gone to zero and lost all its value? Who cares? Fuck them, right? Like, so that's the thing. It's like, they're in control, okay, of what? Nothing important.
But management steps in the way every single time. These guys want to fix mechanics. They want to fix character designs, the direction of some of these games.
They control the media who controls the masses. No one watches mainstream news anymore. No one's tuning into fucking CNN and shit anymore. No one cares. The media, like, if they controlled the media in 1998, it'd be a big deal. But now, it doesn't matter.
Service, but management says no. They say that we are wrong.
Normies still do?
We're the
I don't
ones
think they do.
Don't know
Not
what
as
we
much.
want, and they do know what we want, and then they force these developers to just press ahead. I don't understand how you manage a company this poorly. How do you not listen to your customers? How do you not see these obvious mistakes?
Exactly.
How do you not recognize that you have hit an iceberg? Some of these people have been working at this company forever. Some of the guys are the people that owned it and operated it and founded the company, and they still don't see any of this stuff. And, you know, while I am all for Ubisoft cutting weight, I've talked about that a ton of times. They have way too many people that are working at that company. There's still over 17,000 people.
Yeah, that's one of the fucking problems right there. 17,000 people at Ubisoft. 17,000. How many of those do you need to make a video game? Like, what? To make a AAA game, what do you need? 500? What the fuck are those 16,500 other ones doing? Nothing. They're just sitting around. They're just taking money. If competent, 33, or like 2 to 300. 1,500 are HR. Yeah, it's like, you should fucking I guarantee you could cut this number in half, like tonight, and fucking still have the exact same output of video games that you had right now. You could get rid of half of these people. Some are already at the point of realizing they're failing, but Hoover's is strong. They genuinely believe they can right the ship if they just press on with the message. Yeah, I don't think they can.
None of these layoffs mean a thing if this company does not learn from any of its failures. And they're not.
Remember what happened when Elon bought Twitter? Yeah, it's something like that. Like a bunch of people, only half, not only half. I think you could start with half. Consultants everywhere. Yeah, get rid of these people. They send them to McDonald's. Put the fries in the bag. Flip the burger. Burn that shit. Get a talking to. You don't need to work there.
I mean, the CEO actually believes that the only reason that Star Wars Outlaws failed is because the Star Wars IP is bad. Because nobody likes Star Wars anymore.
Star Wars has one of the most dedicated fan bases of any series of all time. They've just been beat down since Disney bought the fucking thing.
Even though I'm pretty sure people really liked Andor, and there was a movie that came out that I think a lot of people like. I didn't get to watch it. I've been out of the whole Star Wars thing for a while. We also had Battlefront that saw a massive resurgence of players just before the launch of Star Wars Outlaws. So how does that make sense? How delusional can you get? Well, apparently pretty damn delusional, because it's going to get worse. Wait till you hear how these guys react.
Yeah, Star Wars has a multi-generational fan base. Exactly. Star Wars has actually lost value after being sold to Disney. It has. It has. I won't get into it again because I went on this rant the other day when we were watching that Kathleen Kennedy thing. But, like, I fucking love Star Wars. I remember I watched the original trilogy when I was a kid, and I thought they were great, but I didn't get really into Star Wars until I read the books and, like, I started understanding the universe more, and then I fucking loved Star Wars. I played the fucking games, I read the books, I liked the movies. After reading the books, I even liked the prequels, right? They were fucking awesome. But, like, as soon as Disney got a hold of it, I just lost all interest, because at this point, Disney was ruining everything. They ruined Marvel already at this point, and, like, there was, like, Star Wars is gonna get the Marvel treatment, and that's exactly what happened. And none of the books were canon anymore. Exactly. None of the fucking books are canon anymore. They actively had an entire extended universe that they said, no, that doesn't matter anymore. Like, they literally said that. And it was highly, highly fucking talked about in the books. The Thrawn trilogy, Darth Bane, the Rule of Two, Darth Plagueis, like, all this shit was, their books were awesome, dude. They were so good. They retconned my red Twilight titties. Yeah, and so they just fucked it all up. Bax claims to love Star Wars, but how many of those books does he own? Well, I listened to audiobooks. I listened to them all when I was really working at a fucking car parts factory, like doing quality assurance on car parts, and I would stand there in front of a machine, right? And, like, take measurements of things. And while I was doing that, I had 12 hours a night to listen to audiobooks. So that's what I did. So none. I own the audiobook form, which counts. That counts. Okay? Fuck you.
Reacted to the success of Expedition 33 and how their solution to their over-management problem is more middle management. Over the past couple of months, Ubisoft has
just remember those retards said there was not enough Star Wars lore, so that's why they had to make up a new trilogy dog shit. Yeah, that's insane. Unless it's paper, it's not a book. Okay, well then fucking, unless you own the physical copy of the video game, you don't own the game, okay? So you don't own anything. Fuck you.
Delivered nothing but bad news, but in the middle of that, they still took the time to hold an investor meeting for, like, the 5 investors that these guys still have left. Giving their plans for 2026
I know, but
beyond.
like,
more
I just,
cuts, more projects being shelved, and the big headline that they really wanted everybody to focus on was a complete restructuring, supposedly aimed at delivering higher quality games. They're carving the company up into 5 creative houses with Ubisoft HQ.
Certified Racist 88. Thank you for following. I wonder if this person's gonna cause the problems.
Overseeing all of it, and they're selling this as a new era of speed and discipline, placing creative and financial accountability closer to where value is created, simplifying the organization, better deploying resources, all the usual bullshit. So the obvious question is, What does this actually mean for the people that are making games? Because Ubisoft loves announcing plans, but they don't really like following through on a lot of things. What I want to know is whether or not this is actually going to make anything better.
No.
I asked the developers, I know that they had pivoted, reorganized, brought in some new leadership. My biggest worry, and probably the same worry a lot of other players is having right now, is this company being run by people who actually know how games are made? Are you running into that kind of problem? They responded, there are several issues that plague the company. That pivot looks like fairy dust, to be honest. Most leadership was already there. We used to have zones a year or two before creative houses, which did nothing but create a new layer of management. So there are still some people at the head of the company that have been in game development at some point, but it's been years. The way that games are made now is different. I also heard that most of them are just yes men now.
That's probably what they are. Like, honestly, a lot of them probably tried to bring up things and just got told no, like a million times. And so now they're just like, yeah, and they probably just treat it like a 9 to 5 too. That's probably what it is, where they're just like, yes, sure, absolutely, and they're just waiting for the company to collapse. Like so many of them don't even care anymore, I bet.
Okay, so this is where things are getting really good. So basically what they're saying is the restructuring is just a smokescreen. It's the same people, maybe a couple of new faces, but most of the leadership has been removed from the actual work for years, so many of them don't even understand how games are made today, which is making things even more difficult for the developers. They're essentially being given new management that hasn't worked on games in years or have never personally worked on a game before, all while the company is placing another layer of management on top of all of that to make things worse. Unable to believe what I was hearing, I asked them to clarify. Yeah, as I said, right now it's a bit chaotic. It feels not as planned as publicly showcased. Well, it wasn't really organized into creative houses, just there are now projects that belong into different ones within the organization in the same building. I responded, that seems wildly disorganized. So how many layers of management are there between the developer and the studio head? They came back with, depends on the game. On a mid-sized project where the whole team is in one studio, you could have 6 to 7 layers between developer and the studio head.
6 or 7 layers between the developers and the studio head. What the fuck? 6, 7. Oh yeah, it's the meme. They did the meme. The studio head should be like in the office with the fucking people making it. Why? What is it? Like all these people in the 6, 7, fire them. Get rid of the 6 to 7 layers. The studio head should be down there on the floor. Like they should be running shit. You would think, I would think, if it's a multi-studio collaboration, it gets worse. You get 10 or 11 layers. Because your team and sometimes even directors sit under a lead studio, which has its own management chain under the game producer. All these layers should be gone.
If it's a
multi-studio, what are they all even doing? Just nothing. Just sucking each other's dicks. Just jerking each other off. That's the fucking thing. It's like when so many jobs are just adult daycare where you don't actually do anything. You go in, you get a coffee, you sit at a meeting about how the company's doing, and you're just like, yep, that true. And then they just fucking leave, they go to lunch, there's another afternoon meeting about how the company's doing, and nothing happens, and they don't do anything. They don't produce shit. They don't make the game, they do nothing. They're just these middle managers that shouldn't even exist. You can afford coffee? That's the thing, is they can. The fucking middle managers, they pay them a lot of money to sit around and do nothing. That's why all these fucking companies are bleeding money. They need to fire, all of them need to be gone. Fire all of them. Fuck them.
It gets worse. You can easily hit 10 or 11 layers because the team and even sometimes the directors sit under a studio lead which has their own management chain
don't do
under
shit,
the game
dude.
producer. I then asked them, is that normal? That feels like a lot of layers of management. Doesn't that cause issues? No wonder developers don't feel heard. Nobody can hear you. They responded, no, it causes a lot of issues. Meetings are bloated. Most people zone out. Information gets lost. People work on things that are not up to date. Work that has already been done without consulting another team needs to be redone or patched. Feedback arrives late or not at all. Fixes often get delayed and pushed as much as possible.
So it just makes everything worse.
Put off until launch.
This fucking thing. Where is it? Meetings are bloated. Yep. Most people zone out. Information. Have you guys ever had to go to a work meeting where there's the fucking people where it's like the meeting is about one thing, right? And it's like about like one fucking thing. And it should be 10 minutes goddamn long, but person A finishes talking, and then person B is like, and to piggyback on that, and then they get up, and they fucking start talking about bullshit that doesn't even matter, and then person C is like, and to piggyback off that one, and then person C is talking about more bullshit, and then a meeting that should have fucking been an email, that you fucking read in 30 seconds, ends up taking 3 hours, and nothing got done, nothing got said.
Well, doesn't that explain
and
all
you
the
wasted
issues
an
that we see
entire
in
fucking
games
day.
and why budgets have ballooned to hundreds of millions of dollars when you have 7 layers of people
love
between the ones doing
piggybacking.
the work and the ones that are steering the project, sometimes even 10 or 11. Game development isn't even about making the game anymore. It's playing a game of telephone. You're just trying to push a message through a
Directs
human
a forklift,
maze, and
2 hours
by the time it
safety
reaches
meeting.
the other
Happened to
side,
me.
if it even does, it's going to be watered down, misunderstood, outdated, or it's just going to collide with something that another team already did. And that doesn't just explain bugs, that also explains the quality drop. The way that these franchises have slowly started to lose their identity, and they've started to wear the skin of what they
what
used
is
to be,
this,
because nothing
dude?
is getting through cleanly. Proposed changes.
What is this, relooted? Look at this shit. What is this trash? Fucking, what happened to Prince of Persia?
Simple ones are going to take weeks or months for these guys to be able to move on. And beyond that, it also applies to the soul of the project. How clearly can a vision come through when someone who is writing the dialogue, designing levels, or trying to shape the narrative
if you dare
has
to
to
miss a
pass
meeting,
everything
they cut a
through
rate.
layers
Yeah.
of Dante's Inferno just to try to get a straight answer? The only thing that's going to survive is going to be the simplest version of everything possible. Safe choices, repeatable formulas, stuff that is easy to justify and easy to track. The only thing that you're ever really going to see change, especially from Ubisoft titles, is going to be the monetization because, well, that's ironclad. That's a demand that's coming from the top with no mixed messaging. Also,
you're gonna have the microtransactions just straight up.
stuff from their HR department, too.
OG Prince of Persia was a side-scroller, you filthy tourist. I don't give a shit about the OG Prince of Persia. I give a shit about the PS2 Prince of Persia. You piece of shit. You Sir Whoop-ass motherfucker. I don't give a fuck about the OG. I care about the one that I liked.
I just don't get how you look at the past couple of years and think that doubling down is the answer. The industry has been reporting the opposite right now. Tighter teams, tighter scopes, lower budgets, games with real identity, and yeah, AAA is still going to hit sometimes, but the conversation keeps getting swallowed by stuff like Silksong or Schedule 1 or Expedition 33. How are you not going to learn from that? Which then reminded me, you know, for how big Expedition 33 got, even the French Prime Minister had shouted them out, Ubisoft was silent. So I asked the developers, what was the internal reaction to Sandfall's success, especially with former Ubisoft developers on that team, and did they learn anything from it?
I bet they didn't.
They responded, none. No reaction. They believe that Ubisoft isn't doing the same scale of game and that this team size isn't fit for a project that the company needs to make. As I said,
what do you mean?
They want to focus on live service and open world.
How long was Expedition 33 to be? Let's take, not the same scale. Let me do some homework. Let me click on something here. Let me see. How long does Expedition 33 take to finish? 25 to 30 hours. How long to beat the main story of Assassin's Creed Shadows? 30 hours. So about the same. So how many people worked on Expedition 33? How many people worked on Expedition 33? About 400 people. How many people worked on Assassin's Creed Shadows? 15 different studios. Over 1,000. To make a game of the same length but a way worse quality.
What the fuck? I had to pry further, so they just brushed it off. No internal discussion. They come back saying, many of the developers are players too, people that love the game, and they tried to bring it up to management saying, why don't we have projects like
33 initially on dev team, then hundreds for rest. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Like, I don't know what those people did. Maybe some just did audio design or, like, played a piano or some shit. I have no fucking idea. But all I know is one said 400, one said thousands.
this, and they found 10 bullshit excuses to showcase how unrealistic it is and how we should ignore it in an internal Q&A. You know, the famous "it's an exception." Executives said there are tons of other indie games like this that fail. Can you guys imagine being in that building and hearing that?
Like, hold on, this fucking thing. They tried to bring it up to management saying, why don't we have projects like this? And they found 10 bullshit excuses to showcase how unrealistic it is, how we should ignore it in an internal Q&A. You know, the famous "it's an exception." There's tons of other indie games like this that fail. Okay, there's tons of fucking AAA games that fail. That doesn't mean anything. What are you talking about?
Like this that fail. Can you guys imagine being in that building and hearing that? You go and you play Expedition 33, you're hyped for the people that used to sit a couple of desks away from you. You see the whole industry light up over it, and you're thinking, finally, we have proof of concept that the smaller, focused, actually creative approach can
it's
still
like, yeah, some games can fucking fail, but the thing is, if a AAA game that took 10 years to make and thousands of people and $1 billion fails, it's a big deal. If a fucking AA game that's 8 to 10 hours long and you pumped it out in 6 months fails because you've got 3 other games on the horizon, it's not a big deal.
And your own executives look you in the face and go, nah. What is wrong with these people? Not what we can learn, not why did this land, not how do we get some of that discipline back, just excuses, dismissal, a corporate coping mechanism. We don't make games like that. It's an exception. Indie games fail all the time. We do live service and open worlds. It's just so gross. It's not even a disagreement about taste. It's just an admission that their model matters more than their own craft does. The people
just
inside
not doing
are trying
shit, dude.
to do what they
just
can,
don't want to make
they're
anything.
Trying to fix games and make them better, but the leadership is basically saying, sorry, that's not the business that we're in.
Insane.
I can't help but think that these guys, their executive staff, had to have just been so salty about Expedition 33. That game had lit up the entire industry. Everybody was...
Schedule 1 was initially just one guy for CROD. He made bank, yeah.
Talking about it. You have your
Many
own
such
government talking about it. Yeah, I'd imagine these guys weren't very happy. I mean,
Stardew
every
Valley
single
had one guy that made the whole
video,
thing.
every
Even the music.
review made sure to make mention that a couple of their employees had slipped out the back and made a better game without them. I can't imagine that these guys took it all that well. They did the exact same thing with Dispatch. And you know what's really funny is that, if I recall correctly, there were developers that came out, and there were reports that were made that similar concepts were brought up to Ubisoft, but they had passed on it. Imagine being that blind to the own talent in your studios. Your own talent in your studios. Imagine being that blind to good ideas.
That's because this is why I think gaming is fine, because the indie games will always pick up. It's not like back on the fucking Super Nintendo days where you've got to, if you're gonna buy a game, it's gotta come from Nintendo or like greenlit by Nintendo. Now with Steam and shit, if someone makes a video game, you can just buy it, right? Made by one guy, published by themselves, done, easy, right? So like it's gonna be fine. But these AAA game studios, I'm so confused by their thoughts and what they're doing. The Nintendo seal of quality is dead. Yeah, it is now. But they made that for a reason. They made it for a reason that people could just put out slop all the fucking time. Right? And it caused the first video game crash. But you know what? From that, we got to better games, and I think that's happening with this. Like, there's going to be plenty of games. Even if all these AAA studios die, someone else is just going to pick up the pieces and move on and go to their place. Gonna play that Yap Yap game or Repo Night? Maybe.
Ideas that you guys couldn't pick that stuff up. Imagine being so bitter that you can't even learn lessons from it. The CEO needs to resign. It's the only way that I see this company finding any success. All of their bad decisions are coming from the top. I know in a lot of cases people want to point out the developers, and in some cases it's the developers that are the problem. That's not saying that Ubisoft doesn't have any problem developers.
Gabe wins again, doesn't do anything, wins.
But a lot of this stuff is coming from the top. And it's obvious that they're just ruining this entire company. I mean, I am of the mind that the only reason that Tencent is investing as much money as they are is because they know they're investing into the Titanic, and they know that ship is going to sink right into their own pocket.
Yep.
They're just going to take all of the IP.
Yep. And Tencent, I would say that Tencent, this is the fucking thing with Chinese companies, and why I very much don't trust these Chinese companies, is they're pushing the message because they know that no one wants to deal with it, and they know it's going to make the company fail. They're literally sabotaging the company from the inside so that they can buy the IPs and stuff for pennies on the dollar.
Actually means
It works.
a better
It does
environment
work.
for the developers,
Is the fucking
or than
thing.
just shipping all those games
But
off to be developed in China.
it's been known that China's been doing that shit forever. Everyone knows that Chinese companies do that shit. So, like, it's hard for me to find the balance of wanting to say that the people that allow it to happen are idiots, and the other side of the coin where it's the people that are allowing to happen are trying to make a quick buck, or they're bad, or whatever, right? Because, like, everyone fucking knows what the Chinese companies do. They... Chinese traders efficiently? No, it's not that they're traders, it's that they know that if they're like, yeah, tell them to push the message. No one wants to deal with that shit, and it's gonna fail, and we know it's gonna fail, and then we're gonna be able to fucking buy the shit cheap. And that's why you just don't fucking deal with Chinese companies. So it's like, who is working in a business that doesn't know this shit? It's just confusing to me. Our profits make up 60% of the entire country's revenue. They fire us, they default. Feels good.
China or something like that instead. I have no idea. But I will say this, and I don't say it very often, I feel bad for these developers. What a hellish and blind environment to work in, with no care for the art of game making, and also no care for what the customers are asking them to make. Did you know that the higher...
China took over a company my dad was a manager at. It started with one Chinese board member, then they have 2, then 3, then they vote you out of the company. Yeah. That's how everywhere works. That's like most things work. Like, to be honest. Is like India, China, fucking every Southeast Asian company, Arab countries, all of them. It all works the same. It's all that. It's like they just want the one type of person, right? Chinese companies want Chinese people. India strategy, I mean, but it's been that way forever. It's not new, is the fucking thing. Like, only in the West do we go like, yeah, everyone gets along. Haha, everyone's friends. Like, no, it's tribalistic always, all the time, everywhere, throughout all human history. It's like, you know this. Everyone knows this. Like, come on. Ethnic nepotism exists for everyone, also except white people. It seems that way. It fucking seems that way, and it's weird. And the West is supposed to be the most racist. The only people that say that have never been anywhere else in their lives. Can you explain, Kier said that Hong Kong is part of China now, saying, oh, but that's Hong Kong-based company, so it's okay. It makes me want to pull my hair out every time she says it. Yeah, you guys remember when the free Hong Kong thing was going on? When the British returned Hong Kong back over to China, and no one in Hong Kong wanted to live there or be Chinese. They wanted to stay in Hong Kong, and then that shit just went away in a night. You guys remember that? You guys remember when Blizzard got rid of that fucking one guy for saying free Hong Kong and banned that dude? You guys remember how, like, League of Legends doesn't let anyone say Taiwan? Everyone has to say Taipei. All that shit. You guys remember all that shit? Fucking, like... It's crazy. Blitzchung. COVID happened? Yeah. And where'd it come from? Interesting. Not played a Blizzard game since. The Akehato, a Dragon Girl thing. Yeah, that. Many such cases. Many such cases. This is why I always think appealing to a Chinese market is wrong. Because they're going to demand that it's made exclusively for China. Has Chinese board members. For all this kind of shit. And you can say I'm racist. Can't say I'm wrong. Because we've seen it happen a million fucking times. Speaking of China, we're going to look at that trailer for the Black Myth Wukong thing later, the new one. So we'll see that.
That they made to fix Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Rainbow Six for Vantage Studios is the CEO's son and his cousin. His son, by the way, his only experience is in NFT games and mobile games.
NFT
So,
games. Holy
that
fuck.
bodes well for those franchises.
I forgot those
I'm
exist.
sure that's gonna go just
You
fine.
yap too much to get there? You guys like my yapping. You guys like when I stretch a 22-minute video out to an hour and a half.
It's one
What do you
thing to be
mean?
this ignorant when you're successful. It's an entirely different thing to be this ignorant when you are one
So
of
sick
the
of all these
biggest
Chinese-looking
scratch
games. I think China is the worst aesthetic for games. I don't like it at all.
We're one
Real.
of the biggest publishers in the games industry with some of the most recognized IP in the games industry, and now you're circling the drain. But for whatever reason, you will just not learn from any of your mistakes. They just don't exist. You have to ignore them. You tell your developers to ignore them when your developers are actively begging you, trying to fix things. They want to make better games. They want to be in smaller teams. They are telling you what the problems are, but you guys just won't listen to them.
Yeah.
This is the reason why smaller studios do so well. It's because they have an easier time communicating with one another.
Yeah.
An easier time keeping
That's true.
one
They should be
cohesive
able to
creative
communicate with
vision.
each other.
An easier time listening to the players.
Like, this is what you should have. You have the developers. You've got the project lead that is, like, overseeing things to make sure everyone stays in the right direction. And then you've got the manager above all that that's talking to the project leads, making sure everything is good, everyone's on the same page, the company's running, right? And then you've got a janitor to fucking clean the toilets. That's it. You don't need anybody else. Okay? You need the developers, project leads, overall manager. 3. That's it. No art programming leads. I said project leads. Okay? That covers that. That covers that. If there is an art department, you have one person that's in charge of the art department. He talks to the manager, the overall one. If you got programmers, you've got a one programming manager, one programming lead that talks to the manager. The manager talks to the leads talk to the workers. That's it. That's all you fucking need. And then you got a janitor scrubbing the toilets. You don't need anybody else. You need nobody else. Nobody else should even be working there.
I don't see this company getting better, especially with the way that they treat their developers,
You
especially
need
with the way they
person
run
to
their
be cruel
business.
to the employees during
And
crunch.
If things
No,
don't change
see?
fast,
There's a worker that's the go-getter. That's part of the workers, right? There's a guy that makes the coffee. He's part of the workers. There's a guy that, hey, you fly, I'll buy, right? I don't know if you guys had that, but the I'll fly if you buy or you fly, I'll buy, whatever, is someone goes and gets it, the other person pays for it. Right? Yeah, the gopher. Yeah, so someone goes and grabs lunch and gets everyone's order right, and you give them the money. And that means, and because they went and got the lunch, you pay for theirs. Great work culture. Very easy.
they're going to be done sooner than we think. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys did enjoy the video, like the video,
Good video.
subscribe to the channel. Make sure to share
Good
the video
video.
on social media. Share it with your friends. Share it
I liked it.
to everybody. Share it with
Ubisoft-
your family. Watch it around the TV. whatever you guys wanna
Ubisoft
do.
is
Follow me on
dying.
Twitch, follow me
All
on
these
Twitter.
AAA
I
companies
will
are
catch you guys
dying.
in the next one.
They're all
Stay
fucking
cool.
going down the drain because they're all doing the exact same fucking thing right now. Where all of them's like, yeah, let's spend 10 years making an open world game, and then it's shitty and no one wants to play it. So glad that 20-minute video took 2 hours.